create a slurry. And the slurry is how we pull our paper. It's a 3 to 2 mix of water to pulp, and that's how we can get our paper. Another part of it is that basically when we're pulling it, we're pulling out the pulp and a little bit of water to make a sheet. We do have so you can make it from plants, you can make it from other paper that has already been, Daphne collected this yesterday, this is from water bottles, the label on water bottles, you can take that and blend that back down to make paper again, and just keep reusing paper forever instead of having to keep making fresh paper and killing more trees. So yeah, that's what we're basically doing right now. The way you usually start is you'll collect your fibers. In this case, we had coconut husk. So this is, everyone knows what coconut husk is here. So that's the inside of the coconut, and you boil it for quite a while. I think I had this boiling for about 2 hours. Sometimes you can do longer, shorter, it kind of depends on the fiber and how strong it is. And after you boil it, you then blend it to help the pulp get released and get the oops that you need to keep going.
If you have a really powerful blender, you don't even need to
if you have a really strong blender, it can break up these fibers too, but we're working with what we've got. It's doing a good job. So yeah, sometimes these fibers can get broken down too. You can also make paper with cotton, denim, mushrooms, all kinds of things can be broken down again and used. And if you mix it with paper that you're reusing and repulping, it can blend even better. So there is a lot of industries where they're looking at different ways that they can reuse fibers and keep making paper. Usually this paper is going to be a little bit more artisanal, so it won't be like fancy printer paper like we see in offices. To do that you need like a really big setup and a very strong, massive blender. So we're making more artisanal paper today. Yeah, so now that we have our pulp, we're going to go ahead and make a slurry. And then we do have screens. We're going to have to take some turns. We don't have screens for everybody. Definitely should grab one. So we can talk about the screen next. Can you grab a screen, Daphne? So this is the mold frame, the screen, and that makes the mold. This is your mold. You're pulling on the top so that the paper, you don't have to try and get it out of these edges. These edges are really hard to get paper off of. This one we made here. This is just wood that has been laser cut, and this is mosquito netting. So really easy to make. Very I've never actually bought one new. I've only ever made mine. So this is kind of what you get when you buy it new, where you have when you buy it new, it will also sometimes come with a decal, which the decal helps keep the paper from going all over the place, basically. But for the sake of what we're doing, you don't really need a decal for this. This is, it's helpful, but it would mean extra frames, and we want to use our materials as wisely as possible. So, just molds. Yeah, so that's what we'll use for pulling, and we're gonna bring our pulp to the back of the area where I've got a nice big bin that we're gonna fill up with water and pulp, and then we can all try pulling some paper. Yeah, feel free to touch the pulp yourself. You start to notice it does have a really interesting feeling in your hand. It's very
hold that cup of water
and smushy, and it's fun to touch.
The other one. Yeah, just in case we need more.
And yeah, they're very fun to touch. Once you start touching,
Yes.
When you have your fibers, you just go in from the side, and then you pick it up. So we're gonna go. Well, I'll just pick them. I think she'll be okay. The more that you put in, the thicker the paper will be.
There they are.
I think we have. Oh, the oldest one. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I like the gumshoe. Makes it easier for me. Okay, so like Daphne did here, Daphne's put some of the pulp in the water, and this makes it a slurry. And so all paper starts as a slurry. Yeah, do 50-50. Yeah. So we're just strengthening the coconut pulp by also using some paper pulp that we made with the other paper. It just makes it a little bit stronger and a little bit easier to pull. Yeah. And normally, well, sometimes when you're doing this process, the paper will get a little bit brittle, so if you want it folded, you kind of let it dry a little bit and then you fold it so it'll dry folded. Or other sizes you might want. Because the edges are, because we're not using the decal to help shape it, it's going to be, the edges are going to be a little bit wiggly. You can slice those after if you want when it's dry, or you can keep it kind of wiggly and fun. So yeah, we only have a couple of the molds, so it's gonna... Okay, so we use glue on these, but maybe we should have used some. It's kind of not sticking well, so we'll put this on the side. So we've only got a couple, so we're gonna have to take turns. But basically, you're going in the water. You want to go underneath, and then do a little shake. As you're pulling it up, you want to do a little shake to kind of get the water out. And then this dries and becomes a sheet of paper. So because we only have a couple, it's going to take us some time to each get a turn. Usually once it gets a little bit drier too, you can flip it off this. You usually flip it onto felt, and you call that couching or couching. And then it dries on the felt a little. We are going to try and use some muslin, but yeah. So generally you're trying to get like an evenish. This corner did get a lot, so that's okay, but it'll just have a funny corner. Yeah, and then let's put this one to the side, and that's gonna get blended a little bit more, and yeah, we can start taking turns. Yes. Put that one here, dry a little bit. Yeah, so like I said, we don't have a ton, so we're gonna have to take turns. Who wants to go first? Lumen. Lumen's going first? Okay. Remember what I did? Yeah, you want to go under. You want to get it nice and flat in there. And then take it out. Yeah, with both hands. Yeah. Perfect. And then we're gonna go put it to the side so it can dry. Hopefully not too long, so we all have time to, so we might have to leave and come back a little bit, just because of how many we have. What am I forgetting? Oh, yeah. Sometimes we use a sponge to dry out the paper a little bit to help dry it.
Sort of flip it on. Flip it up.
Yeah, just giving a minute. Yeah, you want to flip? Yeah, you should. Okay, so to use this guy. So it's going to need a minute to dry on there. Sponge it to kind of pull out some of the water, and that'll help it dry. The amount of pulp to water affects how thick your paper is. Help it dry a little bit faster. And yeah, we already got someone pulling another sheet over here. Yeah, so we're going to take turns. If folks want to leave and come back, that's okay, because some of these sheets will take a little bit of time to dry. I'm probably going to move some into the sun so they can dry faster, because because the sun is much stronger than anything.
Those red plates and lay it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah, I might just take a little bit. Might need a little bit more. Also, with these molds, it's a little bit trickier because we generally want it to be very taut, so that when you do flip it, the paper will come off a little bit faster. When it's a little bit looser, it can be hard to get the paper off, but we're working with what we've got. And we're also going to leave all of these molds here, so if folks want to make paper again in the future, these will be here to make paper with. Yeah. So yeah, I don't, maybe we'll make a list or... Yeah, the sponge will help suck up some of the water. And you want a sponge on this side so that you're not taking up the paper particles. You're sponging on the opposite side of where you pulled, so that you can just get the water out without disturbing the paper. Last time I did this too, I also had to use a credit card to get it off the screen sometimes, because it would dry a little bit too much and then I'd have to like... But it's kind of a learning process. Can I try? Yeah. I've made paper with different bug wings in it, where I've put bug wings in the slurry and pulled it with that. A lot of people make it with
So should I just lift it now?
Cool stuff like that. If you want to test that, we can do that towards the end, so that...
Like, yeah. Then do a little fix, so it's like even.
Can I take a picture of it first? I have it.
Once you can, you can go there too.
Yeah.
So just like hold up.
I keep forgetting the document.
Def, I done.
Done?
Yeah.
Right. Ready?
Get ready to decorate.
Okay. Bring it right here.
No, I don't like to decorate.
You don't want any
Okay, you're
decoration?
done. I like it.
I want this straw. Is that okay? Yep. No. Proof பண்ணுங்க ஒபிக்மா பழகுறான் தானே எல்லா மெஷின் because of this I think this material.
That's okay. Once you put it down, it should go flat.
Okay.
Right.
You know this down white color material. That is
If you want to get another board, you can switch the board.
it's okay. It's okay, right? I think. Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
This is
If you need a band-aid, I have one. Yeah, I think I have one. I think it should be good. Alright, let's try peeling.
Can I pee?
Yep, thank you for Joe. If it's too wet, then just
Okay, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, that. Wow. Wow. Nice one.
Ooh, that's so
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I can take a selfie with this. Oh.
You have to get down low for the
இல்ல இல்ல அந்த செல்ஃபி எடுக்க போயிட்டீங்களா அதோட கட் பண்ணிட்டேன். Yeah.